bodybuilding kind of like was the new AA for you, sort of speak.
Right, exactly.
How did all that come about?
I had a couple girlfriends that in the past had competed in it, and they just kind of encouraged me one day and said, you have an ideal build for this sport, and you should consider doing it. And so I did a lot of research on it, went and watched a couple shows, kind of looked at, how disciplined is the diet, the food, the whole process of prep and peak week. I mean, I had to know everything before I dove into it. And once I did, I thought this is completely right up my alley because, it gave me a light at the end of the tunnel or a goal to focus on. And I have blinders on when I side blinders on when I have a goal in mind. And so alcohol isn't even an option at this point because
So let
I've
me ask
seen what the other side looks like, the eating.
let me ask you a question, Kelly, because
Sure.
you said something. You mentioned things that put you into that state of uh, addiction,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
one key word that you said was validation. I
Hmm.
know from being a professional bodybuilder, it's hard to get validation because you might have 10 people judging you and you
Right.
do not win. So the validation is either like you said, you're not going there to chase trophies and so forth, but it does sharpen you. It makes you get better and better and better. At least you should get better and better and better. And then there's some athletes that, their career may just stop here. So my
Right.
question is, because you use this word, and I want to clarify this, the validation,
Hmm.
how strong is your will? And I know this is hypothetical, but just say
Right.
bodybuilding becomes something that no longer interests you anymore because
Hmm.
validation of the goal expectation is not met. Everybody wants to get that pro status, but what if that never happens? I mean, what about the what if factor? Are you strong
Right.
enough now, or is there something in place to say, okay, if this journey doesn't manifest the way I want it to be, am I ready? What's next for me to keep going so I don't result back into that bottle?
Yes, and that's a fair question. And actually, I have thought about that, and I think that I'm taking this journey from extremely healthy, mentally strong aspect is that, I know that there's going to be an end to this career, and what I've kind of done through, self-talk, if you will, is what I've learned from this journey of I mean, just the health aspects of it, of how much better I feel. Um, and it doesn't have to be on, I don't have to be on a stage or judged or whatever. I mean, just the mere fact of going to the gym, and which I would continue going to the gym and, leading a healthy lifestyle because, I've learned more about nutrition and how muscle mass affects the longevity of your life. And I mean, just going to the gym, people are walking into a store or whatever. I mean, I mean, look at the average American. I mean, I don't mean to be a pessimist, but we're like the 1%. So when you walk into a place, just your mere presence because you're fit, I mean, you get validation for that.
Mm.
And to me, that'd be and plus I'm super internally driven too, so I feel like as long as I maintain that, I don't have to be on a stage or critiqued by judges to fill my worth. My worth comes in, my son being proud of me for staying sober and leading a healthy lifestyle now.
Mm.
My worth comes from going to the gym and, I get asked questions all the time at the gym because people are like, "What do you eat? What do you," and the attention's nice, but that's part of the validation is, your hard work is recognized just on an everyday basis. It doesn't have to be